Jax's revenge domain. Maybe you should stick to what you know, Wade. Leave the strategy to people who understand modern business. My name is Wade Morrison. I'm 54 years old, and I've been writing code that keeps hackers out of Fortune 500 companies for the past 18 years. The kid who just told me to stay in my lane is Derek Walsh, 29, fresh out of Stanford with his MBA and about as much real-world cybersecurity experience as my daughter's college roommate. He's also the son of our board chairman, and I was about to make him very, very sorry. I was sitting in the Pierce Technologies conference room at 7:30 p.m. on a Thursday, October 12th, presenting the final security audit for our biggest client deployment ever. First National Bank's complete digital infrastructure overhaul. The room was mostly empty except for Derek, his cousin Amanda Walsh, who somehow got promoted from marketing intern to strategy director last month, and me. I'd been debugging authentication protocols since 5:15 a.m. because their banking systems couldn't afford a single vulnerability. Derek was scrolling through his phone while I explained how our AI-driven threat detection had prevented 1,347 intrusion attempts in the past week alone, including 4 sophisticated ransomware attacks that would have cost First National approximately $92 million in damages and regulatory fines. The system was running flawlessly, processing over 2.8 million security events daily with a 99.97% accuracy rate in threat classification. Right, he said without looking up. But what's the ROI on all this technical complexity? Our investors want to see streamlined operations, not overcomplicated systems that require expensive specialists to maintain. I stared at him for a moment. This was the same system that had just saved our client from the kind of breach that destroyed Equifax's reputation and cost them $700 million in settlements. But explaining cybersecurity fundamentals to someone who measured success in PowerPoint metrics seemed pointless. Amanda chimed in with her usual helpful insight. Couldn't we just outsource this to one of those cybersecurity firms in India? I researched it last week, and we could cut operational costs by 71% while maintaining the same security standards. I closed my laptop slowly. The server room hummed quietly behind me, processing terabytes of security data through algorithms I'd spent years perfecting. The patents for our core AI framework are filed under my name. Without those specific algorithms, you'd be outsourcing an empty shell that any halfway competent hacker could bypass in under 20 minutes. That got Derek's attention real quick. What do you mean your name? Everything developed here belongs to Pierce Technologies. That's standard employment law. I mean, I developed these algorithms during evenings and weekends over the past 6 years using my own equipment and my own research because I saw vulnerabilities in existing systems that nobody else was addressing. The legal transfer to the company is scheduled for December 15th after my annual performance review cycle. Derek and Amanda exchanged a look that made my stomach drop. I'd seen that same expression in countless corporate meetings over the years, the look of people who think they've found a loophole to exploit. Derek's jaw tightened slightly, and Amanda pulled out her phone, probably to take notes. Well, obviously, everything you've built here belongs to Pierce Technologies, Derek said, his tone shifting to something more authoritative. That's how employment contracts work in the tech industry. Your personal time doesn't matter if you're using company knowledge and solving company problems. The conference room's climate control system kicked in with a soft whoosh, adjusting the temperature to exactly 72 degrees. I'd configured that system myself 3 years ago, just like I'd configured everything else that kept this company running smoothly. The patents were filed before my current employment contract. Different legal framework entirely. Derek stood up, smoothing his Stanford MBA confidence like armor. We'll see about that. This conversation is over. I packed up my things and headed for the elevator. As the doors closed, I could see them huddled together with Derek's phone out, probably calling their legal team to figure out how to claim ownership of my work before December. The elevator descended silently, giving me 47 seconds to think about what had just happened. The drive home through Denver's evening traffic gave me time to process the implications. Rush hour moved at its usual crawl along I-25, giving me plenty of opportunity to review the conversation in my head. Every technical detail I'd shared, every system specification, every performance metric, they'd been taking mental notes the entire time. I joined Pierce Technologies when it was still called Morrison Hayes Security Solutions. Yes, named after my family. My older brother Carl had started the company in his garage back in 2006 after getting laid off from Lockheed Martin during one of their restructuring phases. I was employee number 3, fresh out of Colorado State, with a computer science degree and enough student debt to motivate serious dedication to building something that mattered. Carl had vision. He understood that cybersecurity wasn't just about building higher walls, it was about anticipating where the next attack would come from and being ready 48 hours before it happened. We spent our first 2 years developing predictive algorithms that could identify threat patterns in network traffic before human analysts even knew something was wrong. The early days were brutal. Carl and I worked 16-hour shifts in that garage, surviving on energy drinks and the kind of determination you only find when you're building something from nothing. Our first major breakthrough came when we identified a zero-day exploit in enterprise email systems that nobody else had spotted. We developed a patch in 72 hours and contacted the affected companies directly. 3 of them became our first paying clients. By 2009, we'd grown to 12 employees and moved into real office space in Denver's tech corridor. Carl handled the business side while I focused on the technical architecture. We complemented each other perfectly. He could explain our value proposition to CEOs who didn't know the difference between malware and ransomware, while I built systems that could stop threats those CEOs had never heard of. The partnership worked until Carl's diagnosis 16 months ago. Pancreatic cancer, stage 3, diagnosed during what was supposed to be a routine physical exam. The oncologist gave him 18 months with aggressive treatment, maybe 24 if we were lucky. Carl stepped down as CEO within 2 weeks, knowing that the stress of running a rapidly growing company would kill him faster than the cancer. That's when the board brought in Helen Walsh from Bain & Company. Helen was supposed to professionalize our operations and prepare us for the IPO launch, scheduled for spring 2024. She had an impressive resume, MBA from Wharton, 15 years in management consulting, experience with 3 successful tech IPOs. What she didn't have was any understanding of what we actually did. Her first all-hands meeting became legendary for all the wrong reasons. Helen stood up there in her $2,000 suit and explained how we needed to pivot toward blockchain-enabled security solutions with enhanced customer engagement metrics and synergistic value propositions. I watched 47 developers exchange looks that said everything about how this was going to go. The blockchain presentation lasted 90 minutes. She showed slides about cryptocurrency wallets, smart contracts, and decentralized authentication protocols. When our lead developer Jenny Martinez asked how blockchain technology would help detect advanced persistent threats in enterprise networks, Helen said we needed to think outside traditional cybersecurity paradigms and embrace disruptive innovation. Helen lasted exactly 9 weeks. The board finally realized she had no idea what our company actually did when she suggested we could increase profit margins by charging clients for each individual threat we blocked, like a cybersecurity vending machine. The day she left, she sent an email to the entire company about pursuing new opportunities in emerging technology spaces with enhanced growth potential. When Helen stepped down, the board faced a choice. Promote from within, which meant either me or Jenny Martinez, both of us technical people with zero interest in MBA-style corporate politics, or bring in another outsider who'd need months to understand our technology stack. That's when Helen suggested her son Derek, who just finished his Stanford MBA, with a focus on technology management. The board figured family connections plus business education might bridge the gap between technical complexity and strategic leadership. They thought wrong. Derek's first day was July 15th. I remember because he scheduled individual meetings with every department head to assess operational efficiency and identify optimization opportunities. My meeting was scheduled for 3:05 p.m. in the main conference room, the same room where I'd just been told to stick to what I know. Derek arrived 12 minutes late, carrying a leather portfolio that probably cost more than most of our junior developers made in a month. He shook my hand with the kind of firm grip they teach you in business school and launched into a presentation about his vision for Pierce Technology's future. Wade, I've been reviewing our technical operations, and I see tremendous opportunity for streamlining. We're over-engineering solutions when our clients just need basic security frameworks. My analysis suggests we can reduce development costs by 40% while improving customer satisfaction metrics. I asked him what he meant by basic security frameworks, standard industry protocols, firewall configurations, antivirus integration, maybe some machine learning for pattern recognition. Nothing as complex as what you've been building. Our clients want solutions they can understand and implement quickly, not PhD-level computer science projects. That's when I realized Derek had no idea what our clients actually faced. He thought cybersecurity was about installing Norton antivirus on corporate laptops. He'd never seen a sophisticated nation-state attack or watched a ransomware deployment encrypt an entire hospital's patient database in under 4 minutes. Derek, our average client deals with 50,000 to 100,000 security events per day. Basic frameworks can't process that volume, let alone identify the 0.3% of events that represent actual threats. He nodded enthusiastically. Exactly. That's why we need to focus on actionable intelligence rather than raw data processing. Our clients don't need to know about every minor security event, they just want to know when something important happens. I stared at him. It was like watching someone explain to a cardiologist that hearts really just need to pump blood, so why make it complicated with all those valves and chambers? Derek brought Amanda on board 7 weeks later as part of his strategic modernization initiative. Amanda's background was marketing internships at consumer retail companies, clothing brands, cosmetics, that sort of thing. But Derek sold the board on her fresh perspective and outside industry insights. What Amanda actually brought was a complete inability to understand why cybersecurity solutions cost more than consumer software. During her first technical briefing, she asked why we couldn't just use the same security that protects online shopping websites. When I explained that protecting credit card transactions was fundamentally different from protecting classified government databases, she suggested we leverage synergies between consumer and enterprise security paradigms. The writing was on the wall, but I didn't see it coming until it was almost too late. My 7 patents covered everything that made Pierce Technologies competitive in the enterprise security market. The real-time threat analysis engine that could identify and neutralize zero-day exploits in under 3 minutes of detection. The adaptive encryption protocols that automatically strengthen security barriers based on attack sophistication levels. The machine learning algorithms that studied attack patterns and predicted vulnerabilities before hackers could exploit them. Without my frameworks, Pierce Technologies was just another overpriced consulting firm selling basic firewall configurations and password policies. I'd filed those patents myself using Roger Martinez, a patent attorney I'd met at a Colorado State alumni networking event 7 years ago. Roger specialized in intellectual property for tech startups and had advised me to maintain personal ownership until I could negotiate proper compensation that reflected their actual market value. The 7 patents fell into 3 categories. 3 covered my adaptive encryption methods that could strengthen security protocols in real time based on attack sophistication. These were worth approximately $1.2 million each in licensing value, based on comparable patents in the cybersecurity space. 3 patents protected my machine learning threat detection algorithms that could identify new attack patterns nearly 3 times faster than existing industry standards. Market analysis suggested $1.1 million per patent. The final patent covered my zero-day exploit prediction framework, which was completely unique in the market and potentially worth $2.5 million. Total estimated value, $9.2 million. Standard practice was to transfer patents to the company after they fully vested, but I'd been waiting for the right moment to negotiate equity compensation that reflected their actual contribution to Pierce Technologies' competitive advantage. Our enterprise clients paid premium rates specifically because our security solutions were 4 to 6 years ahead of anything else available. What I hadn't anticipated was Derek and Amanda's plan to push me out before December 15th. The next morning, October 13th, I found an email waiting for me with the subject line Organizational Evolution, Strategic Transition Plan. It was from Derek, sent at 11 to 23 p.m. the night before, probably right after their phone consultation with whatever legal team was advising them. The email outlined a new technical leadership structure that would take effect November 30th, exactly 2 weeks before my patent transfer deadline. My role was being evolved to focus on legacy system maintenance and documentation, while strategic technical vision would be handled by Dr. Timothy Graves, who they'd apparently hired away from University of Colorado's Cybersecurity Research Department. I looked up Graves immediately. Impressive academic credentials, 52 published papers on theoretical security frameworks, and exactly 0 experience building real-world systems that had to stop actual hackers from stealing actual money. He was the kind of researcher who could explain why something might work in theory but had never had to debug authentication failures at 3 a.m., while a Fortune 500 client's entire digital infrastructure hung in the balance. My salary would remain at $168,000 annually, but I'd be reporting to Graves instead of having direct access to executive decision-making. More importantly, all strategic technical decisions would go through Derek's approval, effectively making me a senior technician rather than the principal architect of our core technology. The email was professionally written, full of corporate buzzwords about leveraging diverse expertise and optimizing organizational efficiency. But the message was clear. They were demoting me to a maintenance role while bringing in an academic who would take credit for systems he'd never built. I called Roger immediately. They're trying to sideline me before the patent transfer. What are my legal options? Wade, this is actually more straightforward than you might think. Those patents are still your property until December 15th. If Pierce Technologies is using your technology without a formal licensing agreement, that's patent infringement regardless of your employment status. But I'm employed by them. Doesn't that create some kind of implied license? Not for patents filed before your current contract. There's a specific clause in your 2019 contract renewal that covers future inventions, but your patents predate that language. Legal gap in their coverage. I felt something shift in my chest. Not anger exactly, but the kind of cold clarity I'd learned to recognize during my divorce 4 years ago when my ex-wife's attorney tried to claim half ownership of patents I'd developed before we were married. It was the feeling of seeing a problem with perfect technical precision and knowing exactly how to solve it. How quickly could you draft a cease and desist order? Give me until tomorrow morning. But Wade, if you do this, there's no going back. You'll be burning bridges with people who could make your life very difficult in the Denver tech community. Roger, these people just tried to demote me so they could steal $9.2 million worth of my work. The bridges are already burned. That afternoon, I started conducting a detailed audit of exactly what I'd contributed to Pierce Technologies' platform over the past 18 years. The results were more extensive than even I'd realized. My threat detection algorithms processed every single security event for all 53 of our enterprise clients. Every login attempt, every file transfer, every API call went through frameworks I designed and implemented. Without them, our clients would be using security systems roughly equivalent to what banks used in 2016. Adequate for basic threats, but hopeless against modern cyber attacks. My encryption protocols secured 100% of data transfers between our platform and client systems. I developed these specifically to address vulnerabilities in standard TLS implementations that most cybersecurity firms either didn't understand or couldn't afford to fix properly. My AI prediction frameworks powered the early warning systems that gave our clients 36 to 48-hour advance notice of emerging threat patterns. This capability alone was worth our entire annual contract value for most clients. They could prepare defenses before attacks materialized instead of just responding after damage occurred. I'd essentially built the technological foundation that made Pierce Technologies competitive against companies 12 times our size with 60 times our resources. But the deeper I dug into company communications, the clearer it became that Derek and Amanda had been planning this move for longer than I'd suspected. 4 weeks earlier, Derek had requested that the entire development team document all technical processes and create comprehensive system architecture diagrams. He'd framed it as a routine knowledge management initiative to prepare for our IPO due diligence process. I'd even volunteered to lead the documentation effort, because I thought it demonstrated professional leadership. 3 weeks before that, Amanda had asked for administrative access to our code repositories for what she called a strategic analysis of development efficiency and resource allocation optimization. I'd granted the access myself, figuring the COO's cousin should have visibility into our technical operations. Looking back through system logs, I discovered that someone had been systematically copying files from our shared development drives to external storage locations for the past month. When I'd flagged this to our IT security team in early September, they told me it was authorized by executive management for backup and disaster recovery purposes. Now I understood what had been happening. They'd been methodically documenting and copying everything I'd created so they could continue using my work after pushing me out. I found an email thread between Derek and someone at Caldwell & Associates, a corporate law firm specializing in intellectual property acquisition. The thread was dated September 6th, exactly 8 days after Derek officially started as COO. The subject line read, IP Consolidation Strategy, Minimizing Developer Leverage in Pre-IPO Environment. This wasn't about reorganization or operational efficiency. This was a calculated plan to steal my life's work. Tuesday morning, October 17th, I arrived at the office early and began implementing what Roger and I had discussed during our 2-hour phone conversation the night before. The cease and desist order would be delivered to Derek at 10 a.m. giving me a narrow window to prepare for the consequences. My first step was changing all the passwords and access credentials for the external servers, where I hosted the core algorithms that powered Pierce Technologies' security framework. I'd originally set up this architecture as a security measure. Keeping the most sensitive code on systems I controlled meant that even if Pierce Technologies' internal networks were compromised, our core IP would remain protected. Now it gave me leverage I hadn't fully appreciated. At 9:45 a.m., I sent an email to the entire development team explaining that I would be conducting routine maintenance on the authentication and threat detection systems starting at 11 a.m. These kinds of notifications were standard practice, and nobody questioned them. At exactly 10 a.m., I watched through the glass conference room wall as a courier delivered a legal envelope to Derek's office. He opened it, read the contents, and I could see his face go through several distinct phases: confusion, disbelief, anger, and what looked like genuine panic. Within 4 minutes, Amanda was in his office. Within 7 minutes, they were both on the phone, probably with Caldwell and Associates, trying to figure out their legal options. At 10:30 a.m., Derek's assistant called my extension, asking me to come to his office immediately for an urgent strategic discussion. I politely declined, explaining that I was preparing for critical system maintenance and couldn't be interrupted without risking client security vulnerabilities. At 11 a.m., I remotely disabled the authentication frameworks that connected Pierce Technologies' platform to my patented security algorithms. The effect was immediate and comprehensive. Every user login attempt failed. Every API call returned authentication errors. Every real-time threat monitoring dashboard went dark. Every automated response protocol shut down. Within 15 minutes, our customer support phone lines were overwhelmed. First National Bank called asking why their entire fraud detection system had gone offline. Healthcare clients were reporting that patient data access was completely blocked. Government contractors were demanding explanations for security system failures that potentially violated their federal compliance requirements. Derek came storming out of his office, his face red and his hands shaking. "Wade, what the hell have you done?" I looked up from my laptop where I was calmly monitoring system logs and client status reports. "I'm exercising my legal rights as specified in the cease and desist order. My technology is no longer available for unauthorized use. This is sabotage. You're destroying the company. I'm protecting my intellectual property. There's a difference." Amanda appeared next to him, looking like she might hyperventilate. "Can't you just turn it back on? We can work something out. This is affecting real people's security." I met her eyes directly. "You suggested outsourcing my work to India for a 71% cost savings. I'm giving you the opportunity to see how that would work out in practice." The rest of Tuesday was absolute chaos. The development team scrambled to understand why systems they'd been using for years suddenly wouldn't respond. Junior developers were frantically Googling basic authentication protocols that I'd replaced with advanced frameworks years ago. Customer support fielded 412 angry calls by lunchtime. Pierce Technologies' stock price dropped 28% in after-hours trading when news of the widespread outage reached our investors. Over the next 4 days, Derek assembled an emergency team of contractors and consultants to rebuild our security infrastructure without my patented technology. According to my friend Diana Foster, who still worked in the development department, they burned through $230,000 in emergency consulting fees by Friday afternoon. The contractors quickly realized what they were up against. You can't just replace 18 years of custom algorithm development with off-the-shelf solutions. My threat detection system wasn't just software, it was an entirely different approach to cybersecurity that anticipated attacks instead of just responding to them. Meanwhile, I was fielding phone calls from competitors who'd heard about Pierce Technologies' technical difficulties. Microsoft's cybersecurity division wanted to discuss licensing my AI prediction frameworks. IBM was interested in my adaptive encryption protocols. Cisco offered to acquire my entire patent portfolio for $7.8 million upfront plus royalty payments. Friday, October 20th, brought the moment I'd been waiting for. Pierce Technologies' investor presentation to the private equity consortium that was supposed to finalize our pre-IPO funding round. $42 million in Series D funding hung in the balance, money that would determine whether we could go public in spring 2024. I watched the live stream from my home office while reviewing licensing proposals and drinking coffee that actually tasted good for the first time in months. Derek was presenting confidently about market opportunity and competitive advantages when they reached the technical demonstration portion at 2:15 p.m. That's when everything fell apart spectacularly. The emergency replacement system couldn't handle real-world demonstration loads. Instead of detecting and blocking simulated cyber attacks, The platform let everything through, including basic threats that college computer science students could have stopped. Dashboard displays showed random error messages. Alert systems malfunctioned and triggered false positives every 45 seconds. The AI threat analysis displayed numbers that literally made no mathematical sense. Jennifer Morrison from Sequoia Capital asked the question that ended Derek's career. What happened to the proprietary threat detection algorithms that were specifically mentioned in your prospectus as core competitive advantages? Derek tried to explain that they were experiencing temporary technical difficulties due to routine system upgrades. But after 32 minutes of watching their cybersecurity platform fail to secure anything, the investors started leaving. The funding round collapsed. The IPO was postponed indefinitely by the following Tuesday. Both Derek and Amanda had been removed from their positions. Helen Walsh quietly resigned from her advisory position the same day. By Thursday, I'd signed an $18 million Series A term sheet for my new company, Secure Foundation Systems. Within 11 months, Secure Foundation had 31 major enterprise clients and was generating $14.2 million annually in revenue. My patents were worth approximately $1,208 million based on validated market demand. When business journalists asked me about leaving Pierce Technologies so abruptly, I kept my answer simple. Sometimes you have to protect what you've built, even if that means walking away from where you built it. The real lesson was quieter, but more important. Experience and competence aren't things you can fake with an MBA and family connections. And dismissing someone because they've been around longer than you is a mistake that compounds quickly in an industry built on actual knowledge and proven results. Some people learn that lesson early. Others learn it when their demonstration fails in front of $42 million worth of investors, and they realize that all the PowerPoint slides in the world can't replace 18 years of hard-won expertise. Because at the end of the day, talent without opportunity is just potential, but opportunity without talent is just expensive failure.